Hey folks, welcome back. Tonight we're playing Dungeon World, Myth the Wind Age. Let's get started. So we'll start with Hope Island. Ichabod. The endless deafening roar of the ocean beneath the silver-black midnight sky nearly drowns the shouts of First Mate Yam as he bellows out orders. Sailor shoves past you with a muffled curse. Some of the sailors scramble beneath the complex canopy of rigging that stretches above you, hauling on sodden ropes to reef the mainsails. Others rush to check the tie-downs on the huge wicker crab pots lashed to the deck. Salt, mist, and ozone sting your nostrils as you cling to the handrail of the stairs coming up from below decks. Freezing rain pierces the oilskin cloak around you as the wind whips the rain against your body, soaking the padded cloth beneath your armor. Ahead of you, another 30-foot swell of darkness looms. The lazy Sunday crashes head-on into it, cutting straight through the center of the swell. Seawater sprays over the forecastle and washes violently across the deck as the sailors grab hold of running lines and anything they can reach. The deck lurches upward underneath your feet. Captain Sedef, a leathery, older-skinned woman with a face like an angry crow, moves towards you from the bow. She seems almost unbothered by the turbulence, approaching you from the bow with a brisk, rolling gait. Ichabod, you know Captain Sedef from the village where you grew up. She's like a family matriarch. Crew members are all her children and grandchildren, and nieces and nephews. Okay, when Captain Sedef reaches you, she wraps her palm on your chain shirt. She has to yell, standing face to face with you, to be audible over the roar of the waves. She says, "If you wind up in the drink, all this metal is going to drown you. I'd take it off and stow it if I were you." So Casper and Ichabod, you guys have two big decisions to make because you're there on the fishing boat. Veranza, if it's cool with you, I'm going to say that Druid Veranza is staying behind on the island, so it's not to risk the rune stones on this errand. Okay, next point of order. Splitting the party. So we have two distinct story arcs going on with different party members. I had the thought that for the sake of keeping everyone involved in what's going on in the scene, I could give you guys NPCs to play as like temporary player characters. So you don't have to like make new characters, but you could still, kind of be in the story. The deck is crowded with these crab pots. They're lashed down all over the place, and you're kind of like looking between the bars every time you go up and down the deck. So this shadow looms above you as the lazy Sunday comes down the backside of a wave. A rogue wave comes in broadside, bearing down on the starboard side of the ship. You can have waves coming on all the time. Usually the ship will turn into the wave, right? And you guys are going through a big storm, so you're riding through these 30-foot waves like again and again and again, just cutting through the center of them. And a rogue wave, what it is a wave that doesn't follow the normal pattern, that just kind of appears suddenly out of nowhere. This is a real phenomenon, by the way. That it's like the tides and the currents sync up in just such a way that it just kind of like pops up almost like out of nothing, and hits you. So this is seemingly one of those. And Jonah, you grabbed a crab pot. Captain set of 4. I'm going to say, actually, so right in front of you, Captain, something hits the deck with, as something hits the deck in front of you with such force that it shatters, and there's like small fragments, slivers that are flying, sprayed in all directions. Something cuts into your cheek, gouging just below your left eye, and your like cheek is stinging, you're bleeding. As you start to turn and like look at what it is, this dark shape looms up out of the wave and smashes into the captain head on, and it hits you as the boat pitches and rolls with you, and you're suddenly struggling with this huge creature as it tries to shove you over the side of the boat. So you're hit by the wave. As you're getting hit by the wave, the boat pitches over like 30, 40 degrees, and something smashes into Captain Sedev and is shoving her. And you hear like there's this clatter as like a bunch of stuff has just landed on the deck. And it's real dark, and it's kind of hard to make out what's going on, but there's like shapes moving in the water. Yeah, so these guys just land on the deck. One of them just immediately, like, he gets carried by the wave so hard that his bones just shatter and go everywhere. And these guys just gang up on you and just kind of appear up over the side of the ship out of nowhere. And suddenly they're trying to kill everybody. And sorry, Jonah, what did you say you were doing? Yeah. Okay, so you rush to try to get hold of the captain. That would be, let's call that a dex. You got to be as fast as possible. You got like, if she goes overboard, you got like a couple of seconds realistically to throw her a line before she's gone. Okay. So you go and you grab her. You grab hold of her. She's struggling with this creature. It slams into you and or it slams into her, and then it rounds on you, Jonah. When you come up to it and you see her, you grab hold of her arm and it turns on you, and it's got like this huge, wicked looking trident that it stabs at you with. Okay. You miss. Okay, this thing's gonna stab you. Okay, you take 2 damage as the thing hits you, and all the NPCs have 10 hit points, by the way, unless you pick Con as your stat, then you get 11. And then, so you take 2 damage as this thing gets you in the shoulder with its trident. I'm going to say, you're struggling, you've got the rope there. Captain Sedef, you sort of have a second to recover. You're like leaned up against the crab pot here, clinging on just like reflexively, and you see Jonah struggling with this thing. You try to throw the thing, it's very slippery. I'm going to say it's busy kind of fighting with Jonah. It doesn't go after you right away, but the other guys climb over the crab pots. They're like kind of scuttling on all fours, almost like slithering, because I have like fishtails instead of legs. And you also see that they're pressing in on the pilot house. And Helmsman Dalit like ducks out of sight as one of them tries to like stab through the windows of the pilot house with his spear and kill the helmsman. Fadleem over here shoves one of them and knocks it off into the water. The boat starts to like right itself as this wave passes. Water's sluicing across the deck. It's slippery. You've got these things all around you now. The deck is suddenly very crowded. First mate Yam grabs a belaying pin and wields it like a club and comes after one of these guys, and he's shouting, "You bastards!" And he whacks one of them in the head and knocks it back, and it kind of stumbles back against the edge of the boat, and the other one comes at him with a spear and it's kind of like stabbing in his flank. These guys clamber over the crab pots to reach you. Set up, you're surrounded now. And Jonah, you're still fighting this guy. You're wounded. You haven't really felt it yet. You're kind of like on an adrenaline high right now. So you get the trident away from them. Let me mark somehow that this guy's disarmed. There we go. Give him a little X there. I'll downgrade his damage by a die type. Okay, so yeah, so he like sinks his teeth in your shoulder. He has very sharp teeth. Like he's got these long, wicked, like cobra fangs almost, like that are in this semi-humanoid skull that he like digs into your shoulder, and it hurts a lot. Captain Sedef, what are you doing as these other two are piling in on you? You successfully got the trident away from him, but he still hit him. He still hit you. Let's say one of them stabs Captain Sedef for 2 damage. You're pinned up against this crab pot, and he's got the trident stuck through you, and you're kind of like stuck in place. Helmsman Dalit rolls the tiller all the way over, and the ship suddenly lurches hard to the starboard, and tilts. Everybody can make me a Defy Danger Dex. As these guys get sent flying. A couple of these guys, Fadleem takes the opportunity to shove this guy overboard. Casper shoves this guy overboard. I'm going to say this one manages to hang on. And these guys get sent kind of flying back over here, and one of them goes overboard as well. So this one smashes up against the crab pot, and it's going to take some damage. This one's kind of holding onto its trident, stuck into the captain. This one is going to run into the mainmast. It actually loses an arm as its elbow gets like smashed into the mainmast, and it gets shoved back over here next to the first mate. So Jonah, you go flying. You hit this crab pot. I'm gonna deal some damage to you. Okay, you take it, Jonah. You take another 3 damage. What's your hit points at now? Oh my god! So I'm gonna say you smash your head against the crab pot, and these things are fortunately lashed down very solidly. They're quite heavy. But you slam into this thing just from the motion of the ship, and your head is ringing, and you're kind of like dizzy. Your vision's blurred. Captain Sedef, you see Jonah go down, and You manage to hang on to the crab pot. You've still got this one clinging to you, trying to like drive the trident through your body. Tal, I'm gonna say Tal comes rushing over to help the captain. Okay, so Tal comes running over and he shoves this one out of the way. Captain, the setup remains pinned, and you're unable to reach and help with the fighting. You see Tal fighting this guy, and Tal gets stabbed in his arm, his left arm, is kind of like getting like a defensive wounds from fighting this thing, and the other one is ganging up on him. Fade Liam comes running over here and is going to shove this one off of the deck. And First Mate Yam is going to help grab this one, and he smashes it, so I'm going to say that one's dead. Jonah, you're still conscious, your vision's blurred, you're sort of like reflexively clinging onto the crab pot. Captain, Setup, you're up. You see these guys are both now ganging up on Tal. We're going to stab Captain Setup again. Okay, you get to take another 2 damage. Oh, really? Okay. So you can roll 2d6 flat. Okay, you got a 4. Let me find out the exact effects here. Okay. Last breath. 7 to 9. To miss, your fate is sealed. You're marked as death zone and you're across the threshold soon. The GM will tell you when. I'm going to say that you're going to keep fighting until the combat is over, but your injuries are, because you're the captain, and you're determined to protect your people, but your injuries are such that you're not going to make it past this point. Once the danger is over, you're done for. The thing stabbed you. You kind of, the trident is kind of bound up in your body. You get a d6. Nice. Okay. So you actually smash that one and destroy it. As you hit it. I'm going to say you hit it with your pipe just for effect, if that makes sense to you. That's what makes the pipe go out. Okay, Jonah, it's up to you now. You got one left over here, and Helmsman Dalek could really use some help. Phalim is going to racing across the deck as fast as he can on his unsteady sea legs. He's like vomiting as he's like running as best he can to get over there because he's very seasick. Jonah, you've got this guy fighting the other two here. You see the captain's badly wounded. Yeah, all right, so you're going to help the helmsman. Okay, you stab it in the guts. I'm gonna give you the option. Do you want to pin it and immobilize it, or do you want to do damage to it? Okay, do your damage. D6. That is actually enough to destroy it. These are not super strong enemies. So you smash through it with your trident, and even though the tines of the trident go right through its ribs without doing any serious damage, you hit it with enough force that like the base of the trident fork like smashes its ribs and it collapses. This one turns on you. This one, you see it like slithering down into the pilot house, like face first, as Helmsman Dalit is like, what's he got down there? He's got like a telescope, and he's like trying to bash its head in with a telescope, and it's getting damaged, but it's still coming on. Jonah, this one's coming after you. I'm gonna say Phalim rushes in to save you. He's gonna take the stab that Jonah would have taken, because that's kind of what the Legion is there for. He smashes into it with its shield, and topples it back as you like swing ineffectually at it and miss, and it stabs him in the leg. And he yells like a sort of half pain, half battle cry. Ichabod, you see this fighting going on. What are you doing? Do you want to help the ones fighting Tal over here, or do you want to help over by the pilot house? So I had Casper shove 2 of the guys off the deck of the boat and into the water. What you see that? So there's now the captain's been grievously wounded by a trident stab. There's one skeleton that's still left on the boat fighting Tal over here. There's 2 that are fighting Phalim and Ichabod over by the pilot house. These guys are... The boat is like speeding onward, and they're trying to like cling to the hull so they can climb back up. This guy's already past the point where he can get on the boat again. But this guy manages to grab on, and this guy manages to grab on. And I'm going to say these 2 guys don't. So you got 2 more guys climbing up in addition to the three that are currently fighting on deck. What do you want to do? Volley? So you have to choose one of the following. You have to move to get the shot, placing you in danger. You have to take what you can get, minus 1d6 damage, or you have to take several shots, reducing your ammo by 1. I'm going to move you over to where you can see this guy because he's still climbing up the side of the boat. Okay, so you actually managed to destroy this guy. Actually, I'm going to say when you as you lean over the side, I'm going to say you spot this one first. You shoot at him, you destroy him. The other one, though, you didn't see him until the last second. He comes up and he grabs for Casper's leg. What is Casper going to do? He's like crawling over the gunnel right now. There was 2 climbing up. You took one of them out. Okay. What stat did we decide for doing ghostly things? I don't remember. It was wisdom or charisma? Right. Okay. Yeah. So give me a defy danger wisdom to fade out before he gets you. Ooh. Okay. He's gonna manage to make contact with you, which means you're not able to fade out. So I'm gonna say that he's like he's holding on to you, anchoring you in place. That's my move. I'm not gonna do damage to you yet, but he is about to stab you. Ichabod, Fadelim, you guys are fighting. Tal manages to finish off this. Actually, I'm going to say Tal struggling against this guy. Captain Sedev, do you want to help? Okay. Roll. Okay, so roll your strength, add +1. Nice. Okay, so you throw him over the side. I am going to say that what kind of complication can I introduce here? I think Captain Sedev, I mean, you're already. I'm going to say it slashes Tal, but the damage is going to be inconsequential, most likely. Fadelim and Ichabod, what are you guys doing as these two? One of them still trying to crawl in. It manages to actually get into the pilot house, Ichabod, away from you. And Helmsman Dalit is still hitting it with a telescope as you two guys are faced with this other thing. What are you guys doing? Or what is Ichabod doing? And Jonah. Okay. Ichabod comes in with the 11 deal you damage. Hilarious. What was your hack and slash roll? I mean, Jonah. Okay, so Jonah, you smash this one. Fadelim gets with you, and like you're kind of pin it down with the hit from your trident, and he like finishes it off by just bashing it with his shield until it crumbles apart. Ichabod, you're on the other one here. How do you destroy it? Okay, it is now a headless skeleton. You now have a headless fish skeleton in the pilot house of your ship. Congratulations. Casper, you've got this thing. I'm going to say it's going to, rather than try to do damage, it's going to try to hurl Casper into the water because it doesn't understand the concept of ghosts. What does Casper do? Cannot dematerialize because it has a hold of you. And don't forget, you also have Narga here to help. I guess, do you want to roll its ferocity, maybe? So 2d6 plus 2. Ooh, all right. So Casper's not able to push it off. Or Narga's not able to push it off. So Casper, you get hurled down towards the water. It has let go of you, so you can dematerialize. However, you're now like moving with the water away from the boat. First mate Yam sees you go in, shouts, "Man overboard!" and runs this way, grabs a safety line, and immediately hurls it towards you. What do you do? Fortunately, being a ghost, you don't have to roll against shock for being thrust into icy water. You grab hold of the rope. I'm going to say that this guy, though, also grabs hold of the rope, and it's crawling up the rope towards you. Let's get back to... Okay, Captain, you're probably not going to be able to get up and like move from here to go fight on the other side of the deck. There's this one guy still climbing up. You've got command of the ship, though. Jonah, do you want to go after this other one? You could volley, use your dex and throw stuff at it if you want. Because it is down below you in the water. You have +1 dex, so it'd be 2d6 plus 2 with Captain Sedev's bonus. Nice. Okay. And then volley gives you some options. I'll paste the options in the chat. So go ahead and roll your d6 for damage against this thing. Or you can choose to just knock it off the boat instead of dealing damage. Do you want to just knock it off the boat? Okay. Fine. Okay, you actually destroy it. What did you throw at it to break it? Excellent. Yeah, you've done spearfishing for the first time. Well done. Okay, you guys managed to fend this off, and I'm going to say First Mate Yam comes over here, and he's going to smash this one and destroy it because they're not that hard to destroy. Casper, so you've got this one that's climbing up the rope after you. You obviously also probably want to climb up the rope. The First Mate Yam is hauling the rope in to try to get you on board. What are you doing? Okay. Defy danger, strength, or con if you want to try to climb up the rope. Bailey is going to rush over to help, so take a +1 on your check. Nice. Okay, so you scramble up to the boat, and I'm going to say you get up there quickly enough. Bailey just leans down over the side and slashes the rope, and this thing falls back into the water, and these guys flow away off screen here. Bailey turns around and looks at the rest of the party. He's like, "Is anyone hurt?" Bailey comes rushing over, and he's bandaging the captain's wounds as best he can. Does anybody have any magical healing? Because any mundane healing is not going to save her. Does anybody want to have anything to heal Captain Setup with? Bailey's bandage is not going to help, unfortunately. She's beyond that level of healing. All right, Captain Setup dies. Sorry, Captain. All right, and you guys are looking out over the storm, trying to get the boat righted, and there is, amidst the rolling waves ahead of you, there is another huge wave that rises up. It's as big as a 5-story building. It's rushing directly onward towards the bow this time, and you guys see this guy rising up out of the water towards you. And at this point, we're going to cut to the Imperial Palace in Llancarfan. He does not want to be your friend. Spoiler. Okay, so we're on to the fall of Llancarfan. Chip and Hilaris, you fight your way up a narrow stone stairwell, pushing and shoving to move civilians aside as you head toward the battle in the palace up above you. You hear the shouts of a legion captain and the screams of dying men echo down the corridor. You reach the top of the stairs and find yourselves in the palace dungeon. The place stinks of pitch, mildew, and old sweat. Surrounding walls are lined with cell blocks. There's another spiral staircase on the opposite side of the room that continues up to the ground floor. As you enter the room, a man in red-trimmed black robes stands at the foot of the other stairs, looking upward, and backpedals towards you as you enter the room. There's a clatter of chainmail and equipment as 2 legionnaires hustle down the stairs, carrying a 3rd legionnaire between them. The stricken legionnaire is thrashing and struggling against their hold, shrieking. The green-armored Heron Guard tails the 3 of them, backing down the stairs with swords drawn. When they get to the bottom of the stairs, the Heron Guard turns to look at the stricken man with a grim expression and says, "Hold him down." At this point, let's give out the random townsfolk that have decided to assist in the last-ditch defense of Llancarfan as the refugees are escaping. So we have the following characters that the folks that are not in the scene can pick from. We have Grayson, the guard, Kai, the cabbage merchant, Mira, the songstress, Hyder, the priest, and Sean, the magic shop owner. I have all their pogs here. I don't know if you guys can see. So Mira is I don't want to say bard because she's not the bard class. She's an NPC, but she is a songstress that works in, or used to work in, one of the taverns in the center city, Palace District of Llancarfan. Okay, perfect. So we have Mira, and then who's the other person? Windpage. Which NPC do you want to play? So Mira's spoken for, so you can pick Kai, the cabbage merchant, Grayson the guard, Sean the magic shop owner, or Hyder the priest. Cabbage merchant somewhere downstairs is screaming, "My cabbages!" All right, so you guys come up here, the 4 of you, and let me give you control of Sean. Hold on. Okay. So you coming up into the dungeon here, you see these 4 guys come down the stairs. Oh, sorry, I'm going to retcon my description a little bit. There's not the black robed man is not backpedaling from the center of the room. He's actually over in the cell here. Sorry about that. I forgot that I changed that, and I forgot to go back and edit the description. So you see these guys hustling down, and the The Heron Guard is saying, "Hold him down." The two upright legionnaires comply as the third one fights them. So the two of these two warriors are pinning down the guy in the middle. And the Heron Guard stoops and claps a gloved hand over the struggling man's nose and mouth, suffocating him. What do you guys do? The Heron Guard, his name is Eamon. He's got you see when you fly up close, he's got a mandrake root in his other hand, and he says, "This is the only way." He's going to have to suffer for a few seconds. And you've seen, I think you've seen mandrake roots before, right? Okay, yeah. So mandrake root is essentially a healing potion, but instead of a thing that you drink, it's a root that you crush, and there's like an incantation you have to speak in order to activate the healing. Yeah, being a 1,000-year-old warrior, you probably have encountered them at some point or another, even though they're fairly rare. So the Heron Guard. Yeah. That was kind of the setup. Yeah. So, but Heron Guard, you see now that you're close up that he's holding this root. He crushes the root and he goes, "Oh," and as he presses the crushed parts of the root onto this guy, and you see, like he's still holding his mouth and nose closed, which is not a thing that you normally do when you're applying a mandrake root. And the guard is like screaming and thrashing and like clawing at the other two guys like he's in agony. And then when the mandrake root's effect finishes, he just falls limp and goes unconscious. You can give me a defy danger wisdom if you want to. Or actually, give me a discern realities. You can ask me one question from the list as you're inspecting this guy. The Heron Guard tells you he had one of those creatures in him. So you see, you're watching the Heron Guard. He turns the guy over and like tries to induce him to cough and breathe, and he starts coughing up this like horrible, gooey, gray-white, powdery, like wet powder. And he's like, Eamon's like holding him face down and like forcing this stuff out of his lungs, as the unconscious guy is like sort of reflexively trying to breathe. And he's like trying to get this stuff out of the system. And you see that this thing is definitely, he's been afflicted by something, this guy. And this powder is an effect of that. And you see as you're watching this, one of the other warriors who's over here, now that they've let go of this guy, now that he's like been dealt with by the Heron Guard, and one of the Megan, she looks up the staircase here and she says, "There's another one." And hilarious, you glance up and you see that there's this like whitish gray smoke that's like pouring down the stairwell, almost like sand, just like dripping down into the room. You guys who are in the back see this as well. What is everybody doing? Okay. Go ahead and, well, actually, I'm going to give you a choice. So you can either heal his damage or you can heal his conditions. He is blinded and, let me look up the exact condition. Hold on. Sick and blind. So you can heal sickness and blindness, or you can heal the D8 damage, in which case he'll still be wounded, but he'll be able to see and function again. Okay. So you lay on hands, you draw in the power of your ancestors, and the power of your ancestors reacts immediately. And you know from touching this guy that this affliction has been brought on by an undead creature. You see this thing. Oh, nice. Okay, go ahead and heal yourself if you're not at full already. Okay. How many hit points are you at? Nice. Okay. Chip, Mira, and Sean, what are you guys doing? Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay. With a 6, I'm gonna say this thing flows forward, and you're not able to. You manifest this ward from your deity, but unfortunately, this thing, it's like, I'm gonna say the ward kind of has like a substance to it, like it's a barrier, like it's an actual barrier. If it makes sense to you, and this thing is like amorphous in such a way that it's able to kind of ooze through the barrier like a liquid. Nice. Okay. It sounds like a defy danger wisdom, I'm gonna say. Nice. Okay. So Mira inspires everybody. So Finn is going to drag Angus is going to help him up and drag him out of harm's way here, as he's still kind of he's helping him get up and he's recovered. He's still injured. He's got damage to his lungs, but he's no longer suffering from the debilities that you cured him of. Megan sort of backing up more cautiously, and you see Eamon is also backing up here. And Eamon says, "Don't let it get into your lungs. Try not to breathe it." Sean, what are you doing? Yeah, so you move to the next room. You see all this going on. You can see this the Ash Fiend approaching Hilaris and Megan and Eamon here. What are you going to do about it? Okay. Do you want to roll me like a vicious mockery, like a charisma? Okay, go. All right, go ahead and deal your damage. Okay, so you shout at it, you enrage it. The power of your force of will damages it, and it kind of howls. And there's this angry glitter of two tiny red eyes that are floating within this cloud of mist. And as it howls, more of these things start to pour down the stairs after it. There's the man in the ragged black and red trimmed cloak in the cell behind you, Sean, calls out to you when they start to pour down the stairs. He says, "Let me out! I can help! Hurry!" You also see that there's a noble woman over here who is looking on silently, and there is another prisoner, another woman on the left side behind you here, who starts banging on the bars and says, "Let us out! You can't leave us down here with those things." What do you guys do? Do a spout lore if you want to try to identify it. But yeah, essentially, yeah, it's just a big ash cloud. Okay, so this is a novel type of undead that you've never heard of before. It was only invented in the past several years by one of the Fallen Lords. You know enough about undead though that you can sort of identify some of its characteristics. How did you learn so much about the particular characteristics of unique undead? Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. So you've fought a lot of different types of undead, and this one it's different from anything that you fought before. You can tell that a normal mundane weapon is not really going to hurt it at all, because it's sort of like it doesn't have a substance to it. You think from looking at it and from the sense that you get from it from your sort of paladin read on it that it is actually it is a form of undead. It's not just like some kind of animated like an elemental or something like that, which is what somebody might assume from looking at it. It is actually the ashes of a cremated corpse that have been reanimated, and it glows with like you can feel the heat as it approaches you. And it's like radiating warmth like coals from a fire. And you can tell that it's gonna, based on what Eamon said and what you saw a minute ago, that it's gonna try to get into your nose and mouth and eyes. And it's gonna be real bad for you. Yeah, you could do a lay on hands on it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you lay hands on this thing, and it doesn't have no real substance, so it's not like you can touch it without getting hit. It kind of like flows and swirls around you as you're laying on hands. Go ahead and do your damage. I mean, your D8 healing. You are going to take. So you deal your damage. You could feel the holy magic affecting it, and you can hear it shrieking as it surrounds you and engulfs you in its cloud. You're going to take 3 damage, ignoring armor, and you must defy danger plus con, or take more damage. I'll give you +1 because you said you were holding your breath before this thing got to you. Nice. Okay, so you managed to keep it out of your lungs, which is kind of important. And you shield your eyes, like you actually close your eyes as it flows around you, so it's not able to like scratch your corneas and burn your eyelids. Yeah, sure. Awesome. Yeah, so you keep it at bay a little bit. Chip, Mira, what are you guys doing? And Sean, are you guys going to let the prisoners out? Or are you going to fight these things? You see 2 more of them are flowing forward. Okay. All right. If this fails the second time, I'm gonna say it just doesn't work on these creatures. Sorry, you're out of luck. Yep. Yeah. So this particular warding technique just has no effect on these things. Miro and Sean, what about you guys? So what are you guys doing, Sean and Mira? You guys gonna help with this combat that's going on? Okay, I'm gonna say you come up and you go to free the prisoners. As you turn around, you see that there's like a key ring that's hanging on the table in the center here. So I'm gonna say you grab it if you're cool with that. Which one of them do you want to free first? The noble woman, the guy in the black robes, or the other woman in kind of like plain street clothes? Okay. So you go and free her. And she's like, thank you so much. And she reaches through the bars and like places her hands on yours to try to like show her gratitude. And you let her out of the cell. All right. So hilarious. It's you and these guys. Eamon says, I don't. Unfortunately, I'm out of mandrake roots. That was the last one. Is there anything else I could do to help? We could try to distract them. He's gonna walk up here and try to draw these two, get them to like float after him across the room, and then like run around the room to basically distract them while you fight that one. Hilarious, what are you doing? This thing is still burning you, surrounding you as your healing magic is hurting it. It's hurting you. Okay. Go ahead and deal your damage. Okay, you managed to destroy it this time with your lay on hands. It sifts down and falls to the ground. And Eamon, as he's running around, he tells you, you guys, there's hundreds of them up there. All we can do is buy time. We need to give everybody time to get through the world knot. How's it look down there? Is everybody almost through? Yeah, it was pretty packed when you guys were downstairs in the last session. Okay, so Hilarious, you killed. So actually, you managed to kill this one. So you can breathe. You can take a minute to breathe now if you want. These two are following these guys around the room. Okay. Eamon seems to be dodging his pretty well. He's a little faster. Megan, though, is about to get caught by one of them. The guys in the back here, what are you all doing? Okay, yeah, because you have that specific power all at it. So you hit it. Deal your damage. It is still going to it's still going to take reduced damage because it's very tough against physical attacks. But you're able to actually do damage to it with this. Okay, unfortunately, that is still not enough to wound it. But you affect it. You kind of like the club goes through it, and you can tell that the magic has made it sort of congeal more, and the ruby eyes sort of become more prominent. But you're not able to pierce through its sort of natural amorphous protection. Megan sees you swinging it, and she sees this change in it, and she's going to swing at it too. Let's deal her damage. And she actually manages to like cut through it in such a way that you see like a little bit of the ash kind of left on the ground behind it. She does a little bit of damage to it. Sean, Mira, what are you guys doing? I'm going to give you, how are you going to get over there without getting caught by one of these ash fiends? Oh, actually, the black robe guy's over here, so you can reach him for the moment if you're quick. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of the other person, but this guy's. Okay, so you free the guy in the black robes. Okay, so are you opening the thing and letting him out, or are you just waiting to talk to him first? Okay, his inclination is to stay silent. He kind of like opens his mouth like he's gonna say something when he sees that you're not gonna open the door right away. Are you gonna open the door anyway? You're gonna wait for him to speak first. Okay. He says, I'm trained as a warlock. He says, these things are immune to fire, but I think I can delay them with another dream that I know. Okay. You let him out, and he shouts at Chip and Megan and Eamon, stand back. And they start to run back this way. Chip, are you going to move back as well? Okay, go for it. So you guys are kind of getting cornered here, but then this guy, he sort of like he closes his eyes and stretches out his hands and sort of like hums. And there's this wave of hot air that like washes over you and like pushes back, and kind of just like wafts them back towards the opposite side of the room. Hilarious. What are you doing? Do your damage. It's going to damage you. Okay, so you both take 6 damage, ignoring armor. And then roll Defy Nature Con with a +2 because you're holding your breath and also getting the bonus from Mira. Nice, you're fine. Okay. So you take 6 damage ignoring armor, but you didn't inhale it once again. You're blazing through with the power of the ancestors. Chip, what are you doing? Okay. Okay, and I guess that's your hack and slash roll, right? Okay, nice. So deal your damage. It's going to deal its damage to you as well. So it flows. It can't get into Hilarious, so it flows over Chip instead. You take 3 damage, ignoring armor. Right, yeah. Actually, you did enough damage to destroy it with your club, so that is gone now. So you managed to disperse it. The other one, though, is going to flow over you, so that one does the 3 damage. And then I'm going to say it's not quick enough to try to make you inhale it yet. Instead, I am going to move some more bad guys onto the board. So there are shuffling, distinctively undead footsteps down the stairs here, and you see Thrall making their way down from the spiral stairwell 2 at a time, filing into the room. What do you guys do? The guy in the black robe says, "I'll take care of them. Focus on the ash thing. Stay away from the door." And he moves over this way. And you see him. He closes his eyes again, stretches out his hands, and he starts to conjure the fire dream. So you see this huge, like, roiling ball of flame, like, forming in between the palms of his hands. And what are you guys doing about the ash fiend? So go ahead and do your damage. Chip, you're going to take 6 damage as it singes you, and you're going to need the Defy Danger Con with a +2 to avoid being blinded and sickened. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think that makes sense. So you get sickened, so you're -1 to Constitution saving throws, or until you're able to catch your breath for a few minutes. Because you've got some of the ash got in your lungs. Okay. These guys come filing down the stairs, and this guy, there's this huge, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Flaming Sphere spell in D&D. He's throwing a fireball, but it kind of like isn't like a regular Dungeons & Dragons fireball. It kind of like moves slowly in this arc across the ground and lands here and just like impacts in the middle of them and detonates. And it's sort of like, it hits with such force that it like ripples the floor tiles and like shatters holes in the floor so that the natural stone shows beneath as it destroys the first wave of Thrall here. There's like zombie body parts flying everywhere. Oh no, I did. I counted. You guys together killed it. Sorry if that was not clear. Yeah, so the Warlock is taking care of the first wave of Thrall, and there is a Soulless that comes down behind them. And Casper, you have a particular relationship with the Soulless, I'm going to say, if it's cool with you, because the Soulless they're sort of like the archers of the undead, and furthermore, they are traitors to the cause of the Legion. They're actually people that gave their souls to the Shadow. And you recognize this one. Who was he to you in life? Oh, right. I'm sorry. No. Okay. Big dramatic reveal for nothing. Okay, whatever. We'll get to that the next time you... Okay, yeah, see... Alright, so you go on the attack. What is your intent? Are you trying to stun him or deal damage or... Okay, go for it. The charisma or wisdom. So 2d6 plus 1 if you're using wisdom. All right, yeah, so you call him out, and he is momentarily stunned. But by the time you get to the point in the song where you stun him, he's already loosed one of his javelins. I'm going to say he's aiming at Hilaris, because you're the one that's closest to his line of sight. Hilaris, you got a barbed javelin hurtling through the air towards you. What do you do? Okay, defy danger, dex. Yeah, do a barrel roll. Ooh, okay. Let me check his damage. Okay. Okay. The javelin hits you pretty good for maximum damage, which is 6 damage minus your armor. Where does it actually strike you? Okay. And how much damage got through? Okay. So you take 4 damage, and you are going to the javelin unfortunately is poisoned because the soulless use their own corrupted essence that they've gathered from the ritual that turns them to the dark, and they use it as a weapon to anoint their javelins with. So this horrible, like, sticky black ichor that's all over this big barbed spear as it sticks into your gut, and it's extremely excruciatingly painful. Roll me a defy danger wisdom to resist the pain. And you get +1 from Mira's song. Actually, I guess Mira switched to a different song, so you don't get that anymore. Never mind. Okay. Okay. You have the weak and oh yeah. So Hilaris screams in agony. You have the weak and shaky abilities for until the poison wears off. So you have -1 to strength checks and dex checks while the poison is in effect. And then this guy's stunned, and you got the 3 thrall coming in. The warlock is starting another fireball towards the thrall. The soulless is momentarily stood still. What are you guys doing in this interval? Interesting. Okay. How does that work? Is it like a spell or a ritual, or is there a specific move, or are you just trying to make something up? Like, what is the actual process of depossessing him like? It's tough to reach your deity in this place. That reminds me, I forgot to give you a token for your wasp queen. I'm gonna say that the stone wasp queen is decided that this is not the time to answer your prayers. This is the time to attack. So it's gonna rush the soulless. Roll me its ferocity. Unless you want to call it back, then roll, I guess, ferocity minus, or instinct minus ferocity. Alright, so the wasp queen rushes up. So that still counts as XP for your character, FYI. So the wasp queen rushes up, tries to stun it. It unstuns, and it aims a javelin at the wasp queen. The warlock sends another fireball, and it's like slowly inching its way across the floor towards the last 2 thrall here, and it's about to impact. Kath, the plainclothes woman, Mira, she says, "I'll remember this," and she turns the corner here, and she starts running for the stairs. She's getting the hell out of here. Mira, Sean, Chip, Chip, you already went. Mira, Sean, what are you guys doing? Yeah, so there's 3 thrall here that are about to get hit by a fireball, and then there's the soulless who is about to throw another javelin. That's a friendly. She's a warrior from the Legion who's fighting on your side. That's your warlock that you brought out of prison. That'll be a volley, so it'll be dex, which is +0. Okay. The arrow, as you shoot this thing, the arrow passes through it, but it passes through it in such a way that it shatters its ribcage. And the skeletal, corporeal part of it kind of falls apart, and then the spirit kind of just slowly wisps away and puffs away into the air, and it disappears. All right, so you guys have temporarily secured the dungeon level here. Do you want to do anything? You have like a minute if you want to tend to the wounded or anything like that. Do you guys want to do anything like that at the moment? You also want to rescue this other person, Lady Veilthorn. Okay, so give me a Defy Danger Wisdom, Sean, to get the spear out without doing any further damage because they are barbed. Yeah, so let's see, you get it out with a complication. I'm gonna say the complication is gonna take you a couple of minutes to work it out. And Hilarious, you take another point of damage from the poison during that time. Before he gets the spear out of you without gutting you with the barbs. And then Hilarious, you wanted to lay on hands on yourself. Okay, so you're still jittery, but you've gotten rid of the worst of the pain. So you're less distracted by it now. And Eamon says, "You all fight well. It's a good job that we ran into you. You guys are the ones with the magic weapons that can destroy these things. What's our next move?" I wouldn't think so. He smiles, and he says, "You could always try, but I wouldn't recommend it." Megan says, "We should try to hold here for as long as we can." Oh, by the way, the warlock, I forgot to mention, he's blowing up these three guys with another fireball. So you've dealt with a current wave of monsters. Megan says, "Let's take up defensive positions here." And she says, "Angus, Finn, take either side of the door here." And they come over here. Megan's going to stay here. And she says to, she points to you. She says, "You, Savage, can you disable them again so we can hit them if they come through here?" Go ahead and try to heal yourself. All right, you got a successful invocation this time. The lost spirit returns to you. 10 plus grant 2 of the following effects. What are the 2 effects? Sounds good. Okay, so they take up defensive positions. There are armored footsteps coming down the stairs. And you see the familiar green armor of... Okay, so these guys come trooping down the stairs. So 3 of them come down. They fan out here. And they look over at Amon here. And they say... They look at the 2 legionnaires and the warlock and the rest of you guys. They say, form up with us. Eamon comes over and he says, "The rest of you clear off to the side. They want you to stand against the wall over here." What do you do? You're not under arrest. We just need you out of the way. Okay, very good. Okay, so and he forms up with them. So he joins their little formation, and these guys back against the wall, and Megan mutters something under her breath as she joins them. And then the warlock doesn't really want to move over, so this guy has to like bodily grab him by the arm and like propel him over here. When everybody stood against the wall, one of them shouts up, "Clear!" And then there's another party that comes down the stairs after them. And it's these guys. So one of them is the Emperor. The another one... hold on, let me get the last couple cards in here. The other one, Hilarious, you recognize immediately from your vision when you looked through the black portal. This guy who's the High Warlock Majarin is the guy who is possessed by the Leveler. They all look at you. They all stare at you. And this guy on the end here kind of like puts his hand on his sword and he says, "Stay back." Yeah, he's got an okay staff, and you see that the Emperor he's got this very fine magical crown that he's wearing that's like steel dwarven make. It's got these beautiful like glowing diamonds, so that they're kind of dim right now. And there's also Myrkrid, who I don't know if you guys, I think the group here, none of you guys know him, but he's the Warlock's apprentice. And this guy, when this party comes through, he says, "Sir," and he bows to Majarin. And Majarin says, "Join us," and gestures, and then they let him through the line to join the Imperial party here. And the Emperor turns to look at you all, and he says, "Thank you for your service." He says, "We've done all we can." The Emperor looks at you, Hilaris, and he looks at Majarin, and Majarin says, "Maybe they've done something to him." And Emperor Latream studies you suspiciously, Hilaris. What do you do? What are the... So these two guys are going to try to grab you. What do you do? Okay, so that'd be Defy Danger Dex. Remember, you're at -1 from your shaky condition. Okay, yeah, so they immediately... So you kind of like fly over these guys' heads. They immediately both seize you. And Majarin says, "Sire, there's no time. We have to go." Emperor Latream nods, and they file out of the room past you guys with the Warlock in tow, and they head down the stairwell. And the guards are like, they're holding you, and this guy who's on the end here, the guy that you fought with, says, if you hadn't helped us, I'd arrest you. Stay back. Wait till we're gone. Then you can come down." And then the guards all leave with the two that are holding Hilaris going last. And they all disappear down into the stairwell. Oh, you notice, by the way, that as this party passes through, you notice that Majarin is carrying this huge, ornate, like beautiful, magical tome under one arm, which, yeah, any of you guys can... I mean, you guys out of character know what it is. You guys can spout lore if you want to recognize it. So they disappear and they proceed down through the world knot. And the last three guards stay up here to watch you guys and make sure that you don't try to do something to the Emperor. And then when they're satisfied that the rest of the party's gone, then they too make their way down the stairs. You gonna try to shoot him? You get like a parting shot as he's going out the door here, I guess. Yeah. So I say, yeah. So first, I guess before you get a shot off, the guards are like right up against you, watching you guys. So give me some kind of check to avoid getting immediately grabbed as you reach for your bow. No, but they're like, you know, these guys. This is like the you guys are pointing a bow at the president, right? At the Emperor. So give me a Defy Danger Dex to get it out. Okay, yeah. So you reach for your bow, and one of the guards clocks you. I'm gonna deal you some damage here. Actually, I'm gonna say 2 of them get you. You take 5 damage minus your armor, and they restrain you, prevent you from taking a shot. And the rest of the group makes it downstairs. They say, "Don't make trouble." They're gone. Okay, and we are going to end of the session there for tonight, I think. Let's do the end of the session move.